Alright, hi and welcome you guys. Today we'll be starting our exponential chapter and talking about exponents and logarithms. But today we'll start with just all our rules for exponents, okay? Alright, anything, well, here they pretty much are, just pretty much written out. The major things that you guys are going to have to remember from the last time you worked on Algebra 2 is going to be this, is when you're dealing with fractional exponents. Okay, and just dealing with that stuff. Some pretty simple stuff of just working with it. If you see something to the 1/2 power, like for example 64 to the 1/2 power, that just means you're square rooting. Okay, boom, boom. So it's just going to be plus or minus 8. Now, when you do even roots, you do need to understand, you do need to pay attention to the sign inside. You cannot even root a negative number. However, if I did something like this, let's see, 4 times 4, yep, that works. Okay, if I had done 64 to the 1/3 power and I made it negative, okay, now the key is the parentheses when you're working with this stuff. So if I did this, that means I'm going to do it, so this will be -4, okay? So it's something pretty simple like that. Now, when you are working with the adding or subtracting, so like if we had 3 to the 4/5 times 3 to the 2/3, okay, you still need common denominators. So this needs to be 3 to the, it will be 4/5 plus 2/3, so you're going to need a common denominator of 15, so you need to multiply top and bottom by 3. So this will become 15, this will become 12, and this will become 15, and this will become 10. Okay, and so that will evenly turn out into 3 to the 22nd 15th. Okay. All right, now that's a really large number, but I just wanted to show you how the adding and subtracting works there, especially when you're dealing with this stuff, okay? All right, so we've done a lot of work with exponents. Can you use a calculator with this? Yes, you can. In Desmos, you could actually calculate some of this stuff. So if we had, let me see, 32 to the 3/2, okay, and you can put it into Desmos, or you can treat it as you're going to square root 32 and then double or bring it to the power of 3. You could do that, or you could raise 32 to the 3rd power and then square root that. It's totally up to you. But if we do that on our calculators, so 32 to the 3/2, that's definitely going to be a nice approximation number, which is going to be 181.01. Okay. All right, so something as simple as that. There's not a whole lot of time that needs to be spent on this. You do need to know that if you are doing something funky, like if you are raising, let's say to the let's say you're doing r to the 5th times s to the 8th times t to the 11th, okay, something like this, and you're raising this to the 3rd power, or you're doing a cube root of it, okay? All right, so what you're going to be doing is looking for triplets, okay? In other words, you're going to be dividing everything by 3. So this is going to be r to the 5/3 times s to the 8/3 times t to the 11/3. Okay, and then you just reduce the best you can and bring them out. So r s squared t to the 3rd, and then you're going to have your cube root with an r squared inside, an s squared inside, and a t squared inside. So, and obviously that's going to have the cube, so I can't bring out anything regardless of what you think. Okay, so just be very careful when you're working with stuff like that with real exponents, okay? All right. Important things to remember, anything to 0 power is 1. You can, if you have a negative exponent, you want to flip its reciprocal, and same thing if the negative exponent is on the bottom or in the denominator. Okay, and when you're raising something that already has a power to another power, it's always multiplication. Okay, all right. That's it for real exponents. Good luck, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.